Hello. The light's too bright. Turn it. Hello. Hello. Have I muted my my yes. Yes. So hi, welcome to the weekly stream. Hope the audio is okay. So I've put the Zoom link into the YouTube chat box so you can join the Zoom. You can join the Zoom. And just a reminder that the non-recorded, non-streamed Zoom meeting is Tuesdays at 5:30 p.m. and the link for the Zoom meeting is in the YouTube community tab. So you can join the non-recorded Zoom meeting on Tuesdays or you can join this streamed recorded meeting on Thursdays. Both times are 5:30 p.m. That's UK time. Yeah. So I'll just do an introduction and then you can feel free to ask any questions. Make sure no one's joining Zoom. Trying to join Zoom. Yeah, so I'll do the introduction, then you can either join Zoom to ask questions or use the YouTube chat. So the title is Holding It All. Holding It All. Oh, so. So it can feel like it can feel like there is a separate person. It can feel like you are someone looking out of the eyes. It can feel like you are someone here, here, looking out and viewing everything, experiencing everything. And when it feels like that, it feels like you are responsible. So you are in charge, you are responsible, you are living life, and you have this ultimate choice and you have this ultimate responsibility to manage everything and deal with everything. But in this, what we call waking up um, thing, subject, um, this this waking up, this shift, or this what's being spoken about, um, is about this. Oh, words feel funny today. Um, it's about this switching over. Like, so rather than this position of I am someone looking out, experiencing the life, experiencing life, life's bumping up against me, I'm managing and dealing with everything. So rather than it being from that experience, it seems to be this shifting over, or this expansion where you aren't this limitation, this experience of someone looking out, this private personal experience of someone, but there's this dropping or this opening out, this deepening into something that isn't something that isn't that. So it isn't that. I can't really say what this is, but it's not that. It's this opening out, this expansion into something that isn't that. And so that is what is holding it all. That is what is holding it all. And it's even more intimate than that. That is all. That is everything. That is everything. But it's not caught up in it. It's not caught up in the twists and turns of the human experience. It's not caught up in the changefulness of the human experience. It's just silently holding it all. It's so beautiful. Like it's, you could say one part of it is fully all, it's everything. It is all of this movement and change. And then it also, at the same time, it also isn't anything to do with it. Like it's still and it's not involved with it. It's so beautiful. So beautiful beyond human comprehension. It's just so beautiful. This everything and this nothing. This all and this holding it all. And it seems from that the suffering of humans is this over identification with this appearance, this story of someone, this narrative of someone, this identification as someone limited. So it's some kind of dropping, it's some kind of collapsing of that experience, of someone doing, of someone looking, of someone living. So in the collapsing of that, there is this, there is life, there is this empty, full life. There is this stillness moving, this stillness living. And so if non-duality is anything, it's this collapsing of you, this collapsing of this identity of you, this idea of you, this experience of you. Not the end of life happening, but the end of you, the end of this experience of it being personal, of it happening to you. And so here everything is taken care of. Here there's no problem. So in the human story, there can be problem, a thing to resolve in the human story, in the human experience. But here, as in here, as in here, as in outside of that human narrative, outside of thought, outside of that human painting, picture painting, picture creating, image creating, outside of that, which is here, there is no problem. So we can spend, seeming months, years fixing problems in the human experience. But as you can see, it's endless, endless. And so maybe there actually is no problem. And if there is no problem, then what happens to that mind that is obsessed with trying to solve problems, deal with problems? What if this is all there is and there's no problem happening? What happens to thought? What happens to this you, this mind-made you? Without thought, without time, without future. when thought is no longer believed in. When there is just this happening. Oh, I've lost your message, Sebastian. I can't see it now. You're welcome to share anything through the Zoom or through the chat. So beautiful. Always a pleasure to listen to them. Hi, joyful presence. I have clashing forces inside. That's Sebastian. Oh. Meeting chat. Hmm. Oh, I found it. I couldn't find your message. I have clashing forces inside. Yeah. Yeah. That's okay. Clashing forces. Becomes a problem when there's this taking on of that. So the good side, the bad side, and there's this fighting happening, and you're trying to fight the other side. Normally you're on the good side and you're trying to fight the bad side. That can cause lots of suffering, uncomfortability. But the fact that there's that reporting of that, like there's these clashing sides happening. The fact that there's that reporting of that means that that's obviously an appearance. There's clashing happening. So that fight must be an appearance appearing. It can't be truth. Can't be truth. So it isn't a matter of you fighting or not fighting, you stopping the fighting, you resisting the fighting, or even a matter of you trying to watch the fighting from a detached place. It isn't that either. It can sound like that. I'm saying, oh, you're watching the fighting. Stay as watching the fighting. Don't get involved with the fighting. Watch it. And it can sound like that. But it's not quite that. Like if you try and become that detached observer of the fighting, if you're trying to do that, then it's still in the fighting, actually. It's still this position in the fighting. It's actually something that's already not involved in the fighting. And you can't become that, because who would you be becoming that? That would be another appearance, another idea, trying to hold the position of observer. But there's something that already isn't in the fight. It's just not in it. It just can't even raise a finger. It's so empty. It's so empty. It's so still. It's not anything. It's not anything. And that recognition of that which is not even in the fight, that is totally free. It's totally free. Even when the mind tries to claim that position, tries to claim to be the one to recognize it, it's still totally free. It's not true. That mental position, that claimer, it's not true. It's a form appearing and disappearing, a thought appearing and disappearing. That clashing inside is totally held. It's not rejected, it's totally held. It's totally allowed. It's not resisted at all. Um, Thank you, Sebastian. Close that. Oh, there it is. I couldn't find it. It's right there underneath that. Okay. Paul, hi. Do you have any views on the holographic idea of the brain? God, I've not even heard of that. I don't think holographic idea of the brain. It's holographic. Holographic. What does that mean? Holographic. It's holograph. Hologram. I don't know. I really don't know. I really don't know what that is or what the brain is or anything really. So no, I have no idea on I have no view on the idea of the holographic brain. I maybe have some interesting theories about it or ideas about it, but I'm not sure what they are. Nope, excuse me. I haven't read about that. Don't know what the brain is. It's a mystery. Just don't know. D. How can this collapse? How can this collapse? How can this collapse? How can this collapse? I think do you mean how can this sense of person, individualness collapse? I'm assuming you mean that. I will answer it as if you mean that. How does the collapse happen? Hmm. Um, so my first answer is always I don't know. I don't know. I have no idea what that sentence or idea even means. It doesn't make sense at all, but I know what it means in the sense of using that to describe something, a difference, and using that sentence to describe what seems to happen, using it to describe this story of this story that this story that seems to help humans in a way. This story that seems to ease suffering in humans. So So my theory would be on that is that being around and listening to humans talk about this subject, so talking about this story of someone and this waking up out of that dream of thought, being around that, it's like those tuning forks that you bang a tuning fork, and then the other tuning fork vibrates with it, resonates with it, and it seems to be similar in that way. There's this speaking about this freedom. There's this speaking about outside of time, outside of space and time. There's this speaking about this present. There's this speaking about this empty fullness. There's this speaking that's pointing to what is happening, that's pointing to the sounds, the sensory experience. It's pointing out the dream of thought, this dream of someone, this dream of time. And there's just this resonance with it. There's just this, oh, oh, oh. There's just this resonance with that being spoken. Energetically, it's like, oh, like it's piercing through this time thought bound experience, pointing directly, speaking directly to what is actually happening and how this is free. This is happening and it's free. It's not in time. It's not in thought. This is happening, and it's such a potent pointing, direct, raw, potent pointing, potent point, potent pointing. It's so beautiful. It's resonating outside of you, of personal, this non-personal, impersonal. Isness, beingness, that which can't be captured. Yeah, so I can only assume that's what happens, that's the way it works. You hear it can happen without being interested in this subject, and I'm sure, yeah, of course. Because this is like, you can't learn it. You can't learn it. You can learn to describe it, you can learn to talk about it, but you can't learn this. This just naturally is. But it seems like for a lot of humans, people, that it's this hearing it and resonating with it. That thought-bound experience, that thought-bound reality is merely a thought-bound reality, a thought-bound experience. And it doesn't have to be truth, it isn't truth. Like this waking up out of it, this shining out of it, this celebration out of it. It's a collapse of a dream. It's only a collapse of a dream. If you're imagining this big firework explosion, actual thing, experience happening, then that will be an idea you're chasing after. This collapse is a collapse of a dream, a collapse of something that isn't actually happening. And so it's always here, it's always right here. It's not in time, not a thing in time for the mind to be chasing after. That's like just not hearing what's being said, like it's not something in time, it's right here. This is the collapse. It's right here. It already is. Thank you. This is a g- g- this is a game. Yeah, 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 totally. I remember being about, how old was I? Between 10 and 12 maybe. And I remember it's either a thought that came or I read it somewhere, I can't remember. So apology for plagiarizing or stealing something that I read. Or I might have thought it, I'm not sure, but the thought appeared that what if God was playing on the computer. And when that thought happened, or I read it, it was like, oh, it's like, oh, this expansion happened. It's like, this isn't real. It was like being played. It was like, I've no idea how long it lasted for, I don't know, but then back to like, oh, back to, normal thoughts and yeah, back in it, back in. Yeah, it totally is. Like this is being played. And it's only suffering when it feels like really you took ownership of that character, you took ownership of that position, and it really feels like that you are not being played, but you are actually in this. And it's real. And you're really independent and you've took ownership of it. And so when there's talk about surrendering to this giving up, giving up control, giving up that feeling of control, letting life take over, letting this happen, letting this take over, being lived, being played. Mm. So beautiful. Is it? Oh, lost it again. I've lost your message now. Is it ordinary? It flashed up briefly. Now it's gone. Yes. It disappears. That's weird. Is it ordinary? Is this ordinary? Ordinary. What's ordinary? What's ordinary? No, it's not ordinary. It's not ordinary. Ordinary feels like it's coming from time, how it's been before. This image of how it's been before is ordinary. It's not ordinary. It's not ordinary. It's not in time at all. Like it's too fresh to be ordinary. Oh, you deleted it. Okay. Yeah, it's not. No, it's not ordinary. Can we connect? How do you, what you mean? Can you come on the screen? You can, yeah. You can put your camera on. Is that what you mean? Oh, well, let me know if you can put your camera on. Do I have to invite you to do that? I don't think so. You can just do it. There you go. Ask to start video. There you go. You're free to put your camera on or unmute. Hi, Ben. In what way is this a game? In what way is this a game? In what way is it a game? In what way? I don't know. I don't know. It felt right when it was asked before. In what way is it a game? I suppose in the fact that it's not real, like it's not actually happening. Like you can't, yeah, like when you watch I haven't played a game of it for many years, but when you watch like well in Minecraft, there you go, Minecraft, you watch Steve or Alex or I was thinking of Mario or like Alex the Kid. Or maybe Sonic the Hedgehog. When you watch it, like it was 2D. Maybe now it's more 3D, but it was 2D. Like you can't like grab hold of it. You can't. There's no substance to it. So you could say, well, now you code in the programming for it to appear, but actually there's nothing really in it. You can't get hold of it. And it's the same way in terms of everything, really. Like our thoughts, our ideas, are the emotions. You can't really grab hold of them. They're like picking up sand or something, water. You can't really grasp it. Can't grasp anything. And then these things are happening, these movements are happening, these appearances are appearing. And the illusion is that I I am someone doing that. I am someone moving these arms. I'm someone moving them. I'm in here in charge of this movement. I'm in here in charge of what thoughts appear. I'm in here in charge of the emotions and the feelings and the behaviors. Whereas this is happening, but without the idea of I'm in charge, I'm doing, this idea and this feeling of it, there is just life happening. There is just this happening. It's just easier to well, is it easier? Not easier, but it's like in this game of society of humans, we have seeming responsibility. We say, I did that, I went there, I asked for that, I did this. We say, you did that, that's your fault. We have this as a way of communicating. But it's not true. But it's just not true. But we have to have that in a way. We have to be able to communicate, and I don't have to, but that's just the way it is. No, we have to or not, but that's just the way it's appearing. That's just the way it's happening. It really is mysterious and beautiful. So there is this play of doership, this play of I and you, this play of time and space. I am here, you are there. There's a play of that, there's an appearance of that, undeniable. That's going to be there as how we function, whether there's someone there or not. There will be the play of time and space, the play of thought, the play of you and I. But I guess this is looking at going deeper than the play of, going deeper than the assumptions and the playing along with it. It's actually looking at, is that actually true? What is that? It's this looking at the untruth of that, the actual experience, the actual direct experience. And the direct experience is, this seems to be happening. This as in this appearance of this wall, of the tree, of this jumper, of this screen, the camera, the light, these hands. There's an appearance of this happening. But this idea of it's happening to someone, hi, it's happening to someone, it's happening to me. I'm in this, I'm sitting here, I'm seeing and hearing and feeling and thinking. That's to be questioned, because there's no evidence in the experience of that being true. We aren't talking about theory here or a belief or an idea of something that you have to believe in. It's the actual experience, what is actually happening, what isn't a thought, an idea of something, but actually what is happening. Do you want to speak, Sebastian, or did you want to connect, as in just be on camera? You can write it if you don't want to speak, or do you want to speak? I don't want to put you on the spot. Like you can write it if you don't want to. Yeah, okay. Hi.
I'm fine. I will write.
Okay. D is saying, is it expansive? Is this expansive? Yes, it's expansive, but it doesn't have a like it's expansive, but it doesn't have like a border to it. Expansive can have this like idea of, oh, it's rather than it being here, it's more like here. Well, it isn't really here either. There's no border or limit to it. So it's expansive, but it's not limited to expansive, if that makes sense. It has no boundary or border. It's not big. It's beyond border. It's beyond big. It's beyond the size. It's beyond every label or opposite you can think of. It isn't in comparison. Obviously, we have to use dualistic language and say it's this or it's not, but it's just a way of saying it's not how it's perceived through the mind. Just a way of like posing the mind's idea. But it's not actually that either. It's not anything. It's not anything. Like it's not anything. And it's the direct experience right now. It's not anything. So if you can like have like, oh, an image, an idea, a word of, I have to see stairs here, so stairs or a hallway or a wall or a plant or a person or a computer or a camera. Have all these labels and names for things, but beyond that labeling, that knowing of that discernment, there's this right here that's not expansive. It's not knowing. It's not anything. It's not anything. It's right here. It's you have to go out for it. It's right here. It's not anything. There's no question to it. It's right here. It's not anything. And it's right here. But it's not anything. And that's why the mind can't get it and grasp it and know it. It's trying to get it as a thing, but it's not anything. So it can never get it. It can never know it in quality language. Whatever quality is described as, it can't be it. They're merely pointing, they're merely attempting to describe that which is undescribable. So you really can't speak about it. You can't speak about it. It's not a thing. It's not a thing. And that's the beauty. It's right here as not a thing. Yeah. Yes, okay. Thank you for joining the stream. That is the end of the stream. So for Tuesday, yes, look at the community tab and there'll be a link for the Tuesday non-recorded, non-streamed Zoom meeting. And then I'll be here again on YouTube for on Thursday at 5:30 as well, so you can join me then. Yes, lovely. I shall see you next time.